I wanted to ask you about a couple of people that I remember, and I've got this. I'm enamored with.
I'm getting hard enough hearing.
Oh, I'm enamored with Red Snyder.
Oh.
Do you remember him?
Very definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I was in his house one
You
time.
were? I never knew him, but I've heard some great stories about him.
Yeah, everybody's heard stories about Red.
And I don't know why, but I've got this I don't know what you call it. I'm enamored with the guy. Fixation with him. And I just want to hear stories about him. Do you have any stories about him or what you can tell me?
Yeah, there's a few, but I don't know personally what they did. But some of the women up there, Red didn't have a wife. He never was married. And some of the women, they got smart and played a trick on him. They made this dummy and took it up and put it in his bed.
to be funny. Yeah.
I was in his house when I worked for the information and referral office. And Margaret had to go up there, or maybe it was a woman. I don't remember if it was Margaret or one that was taking her place. Anyway, they didn't want to go alone. Margaret had gone up and called on him once and had a revolver stick out the door right in her face practically, and until she finally convinced him who she was.
Well, what year was this? Was this like in the 70s or the 60s? Was this the 60s? In the 1960s?
No, it was later than that. I retired in 81, so it was the 70s and 80s.
70s and 80s, okay.
And I worked down there. But I went up there with him. The house he was living in, the back part of it had collapsed and fallen down. He just had one room actually in there. And the crud was piled so high on the floor, chips and stuff from his fire. You couldn't get the door open much farther than that to get into the place. And his bed, the first time Margaret went up there, poor old fella, he was sleeping on this nothing but springs with an old coat on it. So she got him a mattress. The next time we went up there, why, all he had was springs.
I wonder what he did with the mattress.
Dogs. He had a bunch of dogs, and they'd got up there and
dug them. Oh no!
And the poor little old, he had an old bitch that had pups. And poor little old things that didn't have anything to eat other than he had a sack of some kind of ground green there that they just have to go over and eat out of that.
Oh.
That one I remember is that one poor little old thing wobbling out to get it a drink outside. He couldn't hardly walk.
Oh.
And anyway, Nelson Agee used to tell a lot of stories about Red. He said that when he'd cook an egg, he'd just put the shells in there and pile the shells up till he had a pile of eggshells about as tall as his stove.
Oh, funny. Now, he had chickens? He must have had chickens.
Well, he used to have a lot of things. I don't know if he had chickens or if he bought his egg. He had goats that run all over people's places up there, and he had cattle that run all over around there. At one time, I think they said they had 400 goats up there. And they loaded up a whole trailer load of them and took them down into California. I don't know what they did with them down there.
Oh my!
Whether they used them for food or what they did with them. They were the Angora, the nice
ones.
But anyway, I don't know too many personal stories about him. After my grandmother died, he bought their team of horses that they had, and I took the horses over through the woods, over the hills, and delivered them over to Red Snyder. He lived further on up the valley here, you know, all the way up towards the head of Gopher Valley. So I took the team of horses.
So did you walk them or?
I rode one and led the other.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway,
Huh.
as far as any personal stories, that's all I know about him. He's quite an old character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the funny part of it was, he lived in an old hovel up there, just a dirty old shack. And down below him was this old bachelor that was neat as a pin, they said. I never saw his house, but the people who lived around up there said, I can't even think of his name now, but said he was just a perfect, neat housekeeper. And I don't know whether it was after he died or moved out from up there, that's where Red moved down into his house. And
oh, really?
that's where he was living when we went up there, and the back part of the house had fallen in.
Oh my gosh. Huh. Yeah, I'm quite enamored with that guy. I don't know why.
Was there one other one you said?
Oh, just, let's see. I don't know a lot of the people that lived up Gopher Valley. It was the people in town that I knew.
I don't know any of them now either.
Yeah.
Bruce Graves lives up here.
Yeah.
Kenny Tilden and Bruce's boys, one of them anyway, one or two of them live up there. And Roger Smith.
Yeah, Roger, I went to school with him.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he's my fourth son.
Oh, that's great.
He comes here and does things for me.
Oh, good.
And
he's a nice guy.
Clifford made arrangements with him to stop one day a week and see if I needed to go to town. So he's just very regular. He stops.
Oh, great.
On Wednesday to see if I need to go to town for anything.
So you go in his blue car? That blue car? Oh, he does?
His sister Della gave him her car.
Oh, wonderful.
He's got a little white Subaru.
Oh, great. Well, I'll have to look for that then, because I always look for that blue car.
Oh, that old car.
Yeah.
It took a gallon of gas every time it turned over, practically.
Yes. Yeah.
But, he was broke most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd come here and do jobs for me, and I'd pay him a little bit.
Oh.
But, and his sister Terry, I know her up there. Linda Fagan Bird.
Yes.
I know her.
Yeah, Wendy is a friend of mine, and she's part of the Sheridan days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to meet her. I remember her mother, but I don't, I don't remember her more than just what she looks like. But
she is so heavy set that I don't know how she walks.
Mm.
She had an aunt that lived in McMinnville that was like that. So I guess she took after her because her mother wasn't heavy set at all.
Hmm.
She had polio, I guess, when she was a child.
Oh.
She walked with a limp. Her mother did.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so, can you tell me, what was the town like? What was Sheridan like? Sheridan. What was Sheridan like when you were growing up? Is that the town that you went to the most?
no, I think we've actually done more trading in McMinnville
Really?
than we did in Sheridan.
Yeah.
But, it had a lot more stores than it does now.
Yeah.
I remember, I could never think of the name, but I believe it was Kreider's.
Yes.
Had a store next to the drugstore, Hass's drugstore over there, Myers Drug.
Right.
In there. And in where the pizza place is up there was a beauty parlor.
Oh, really?
They called it Joyzell.
Huh.
Joyce Dilley and Zelda Hyder owned it. And
Now, what relation was she to Otto Hyder? Was she any relation to Otto Hyder? No?
I don't think her name was...
Okay, so they weren't related.
That's been a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
That's where I got my first permanent wave in there. When they put all those things
Oh, yeah.
on your head and connect you up to a machine.
Now, right next to that, then, was the old was it the Grand Theater?
No.
No, it wasn't. That was later.
Bank was across where it is now, if I remember right.
Okay.
Well, it had been a bank there at that one time. That building.
Oh, really?
Beauty parlor was. Then next to it was Ivy's Hardware.
Right, I remember Ivy's, yeah.
Then on down was the bakery, if I remember correctly.
Was that John's Bakery, or that was before?
Whatever they called it then, Sheridan Bakery, whatever
Sheridan
it was.
Bakery.
And then there used to be a red and white store, they called it. I think it was somewhere in there along where the hardware store is in there.
And what kind of things did that
It was
sell?
a grocery store.
It was a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Back in the days when you went in and everything was up on a shelf and you had to tell them what you wanted.
Oh, that would be
They'd get
so
it down
cool.
for you. And then there was Gene Barber had the barber shop there where the cafe is, right off the end of the bridge.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Merck was there.
Yeah.
My uncle managed the store there for a while,
And what was his name?
Fred Diner. He was married to my mother's younger sister.
Uh-huh. They had the double wedding at the hotel. No, that was somebody else.
That was her youngest sister.
Oh, okay.
She had 2 older brothers and 2 younger sisters.
Wow.
Their name was Long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They lived down, Diners lived down on Sheridan Road, somewhere close to where that condominium or birdhouses, as I call them, is built there. Somewhere down there.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
There's a river something there.
Right, right. Now, do you remember Cherry Hill and all the cherry orchards up there? Did you pick cherries up there?
No.
No?
I tried to pick apples up there where your grandparents were when Bob Eskridge had it.
Oh, where was that?
I was so short and those great long ladders, I couldn't make anything at picking apples.
Where was that? Because Mom talked about it all the time.
What year?
No, where? Where was Bob Eskridge's place?
You know where Osceola is?
Yes.
That was it.
Oh, really? It was up Rock Creek then?
That was all orchards up in there. Apples,
oh, I didn't know that.
And mostly apples, I think. And fruit, anyway. What the heck did
So that was up Rock Creek?
Yeah.
The Highlands?
Right on top. Or, not right on top,
but
on top.
Yeah. Well, now see, I didn't know that, but Grandpa always talked about, you know, working for, was it Herman Eskridge? Or
Bob Eskridge.
Bob Eskridge, yes. I always get them mixed up.
I have a mental picture of him dressed in his, kind of like the old World War uniforms that they wore, and he had these high knee boots that laced up.
Oh, wow.
I remember we'd never seen anything like
wow.
that. That was quite a sight for us.
So what do you remember about my grandparents? Do you remember?
What do I remember?
Yeah.
Very little. I just knew the name was. My brothers, I don't know whether both Boyd and Doyle. Anyway, I know Boyd. What was your aunt's name, your mother's sister?
Alice.
Huh?
My mother's sister, Alice.
I was thinking it was Irene, but...
Well, no, it was Alice. She might have had a middle name. I don't remember her middle name. It could have been Irene.
Well, I didn't...
Blonde hair, real pretty.
I vaguely remember her, but I think he dated her about one time. One of my brothers did.
Wow. See, I don't hear any of these kind of stories at all, so that's great. I haven't heard any of these kind of stories at all, so that's great.
No, I don't suppose your mother's been gone quite a while.
Yeah, yeah. She never talked much about that. I mean, she talked about Bob Eskridge, but she also talked about, oh, there's that kitty. She also talked about the guy on Red Prairie Road that had the apples down there. Yeah, but there was
others out there too. But I don't remember.
I just can't remember the names. Yeah.
The only ones I can remember that had
they had the packing house with a cider.
I took Mom out there one time to get some apples from some old guy. I don't remember who he was now. And both she and I couldn't believe our eyes. I took a box to get them in, and when he put the apples in, well, he just held the box up like that and just poured the apples into the box. You know, apples do bruise.
Yes. Whoa.
Anyway, I don't remember who he was now. I don't know much about Red Prairie. My sister lived out there for a while.
Oh, she did?
At Pleasant Hill, something like that.
Pleasant Hill, yeah.
What I think was one of the roads we went on. We lived out there for a little while. And otherwise, I know very little. I know some of the names of some of the people that have lived out there. But I don't ever went out there very much. Come on, Tom. Tom.
Kiki.
Tom, Tom.